Yeah, there you go.
Take a look inside, show you around. End up in sanctuary. A little bit about
Well, Rich, it's obvious you really like to build things. This is part of it, I understand.
I do, I really do. We had a church fire in year 2000, and the whole thing burned down. The old church burned down. And so we got together and had a little insurance and decided we could go ahead and rebuild it. And so we got together, and I was elected the building committee chair.
Yes.
Because I could draw squares. And we designed the church and worked at it quite a while, and finally got agreed upon a pattern shape.
Right.
And then a friend of mine in the church, he and I pretty much contracted the thing out. There is the kitchen, and we took all kinds of advice. As I think I mentioned earlier, I listened to good advice from people. And the Baptists said, be sure and build a big enough kitchen. And sure enough, we decided that we would take the Baptist recommendations and build it
That's
nice and large.
Kitchen, yes.
And so we do have a kitchen that a lot of people come in and just kind of walk around
great.
are pleased to see how
Magnificent.
nice and
Magnificent.
large and how the traffic flow and so
Yes.
forth works real good.
I can see the food laid out, ready to eat.
We've got an office, we have
Offices
restrooms down this hall,
hallway.
kindergarten type for Sunday school down there, big storage room and so forth. Nothing very remarkable.
Well, we're just going to
rooms
follow you
down there.
as you
And
talk.
I was pretty enamored with the medieval churches, the Middle Ages churches. They all have bell towers. And I think that the bell tower is a neat thing to have. And so I designed the bell tower. It wasn't built with the church, it was built after the church. We had a little bit of money we could play with. And so we took the old bell that melted down in the fire, and I put it on a concrete block here with another concrete. And you can see how it melted part of it. And this is how one of my unfavorite pictures of the church building burning. We were over here.
Oh, and you watched it burn.
We did. It started back in the kitchen, and we don't know why, but we were there. We got out and took a fire extinguisher with us, and it took about 2 minutes to exhaust the fire extinguisher, so we didn't have anything to
And
work
it burned
with.
to the ground.
So we got out, took a couple things with us, called the fire department. They came and we all watched it burn. It was a windy September day, and boy, I tell you, I know what those people in California are up to. It's another new adventure for me. I've never done any stained glass. You don't understand it, but I knew what it looked like generally. So, what kind of subject matter does a person put on it? Well, all kinds of possibilities. And beyond that, what kind of a design do you have? Well, I decided that we'll have blue in the stained glass. Blue will be our dominant, then yellow would be the intermediate for all the browns, and then red would be the accent. Well, can you guess what this subject matter is? Well, I'll tell you. It's the 10 Commandments. And don't speak with a forked tongue. Go to church. Honor your mother and father. Don't use the name of God in vain. And don't worship graven images. And then there's Alpha and Omega, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
And you designed these.
Yeah. But I didn't cut them. I tell you this, Becky Height cut these, and you talk about an expert craftsman. She is.
Yes.
Okay, then we move along to the birth of Christ. That's pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty simple. I kept it simple because I wanted the kids to understand it. So here you have the baby of Christ, crown over the head, Mary and Joseph, the three kings of Orient, angels of above, shepherds tending the flock, and then the animals beside the old barn. And then we have the miracles. One of the most striking miracle to me is the one of the woman who had an issue for 12 years. I don't know whether you know the story or not, but she touched Christ's robe and was healed. And Christ said, "Who touched me?" So he felt the energy go out. And that to me is very poignant. Anyway, that's Christ walking on water. And there's the hand of the woman.
Oh, yes.
Right there, reaching out, touching. Healing of the blind eye, seeing eye. That's up there. A reference to the fishes and the loaves, and then to the masses being fed by manna.
Remember feeding the masses with the fish, multitudes.
Yeah. And when we designed this building, I wanted to have a place for the preacher to hang out before the sermon. I always thought that was kind of mystery-like. And so we have a chancel back here where you can get back in. And back here is where we do all of the monkey business, deal with the lights and so forth. And we got lights that we can change color on. And when we do that, we can set the mood for the service. This is, of course, Christ enthroned, angel rolling the stone away from the entrance, and Christ going up to heaven. This is one of we're getting closer to the latter part of the days. Anyway, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are here, and then Christ, God, with the 7 eyes, 7 horns, 7 candles, very Catholic, very Jewish there. This is the Lamb of God, here, feet out there. And then the apocalypse is the word. You've got the sun turning black, moon turning red, got 7 angels blowing the end of times.
Yes.
And then the second coming, where you've got a pregnant angel coming down. You've got the tree of life. You've got the 12 fruits that are supposed to heal anything. And then you've got the dragons down here trying to devour the coming Christ, second coming. And then you've got the book of, if you're not in the book of deeds, you go down here. That's right. So anyway, that's probably kind of a nutshell version of what we got here.
I see.
And the talking design, the dominant in the windows is blue, yellow, red accent.
Rachel, that's a great walkthrough. These patterns which you designed and ladies help up in Rebecca Hightower's, Lisa, Missouri. Well, Rich, I'd like to look deeper now into your creative process. You know, you painted portraits, you designed stained glass, you designed memorials, you painted landscapes, and you've animated actually in film, teaching students on how to actually videography work and film. Well, so, and more at all, I guess it covers a lot. We know you're a Renaissance man, as they call myself sometimes. So I'm going to tell the people worldwide, look into the camera And where do you get confidence to try things you've not done before?
Well, that comes from just past experience, and I always felt like when I was teaching that I needed to know what it was that I was communicating. I needed to know the basis, the foundation for it. I needed to understand what the system was that I was using.
Yes.
Because if you're teaching something, and part of the reason I did so many different things is that I was teaching different things. And I always thought if I'm going to teach somebody to do something, I ought to know how to do it myself.
Right.
And so that's the foundation for a lot of it. But the basic confidence, I think, goes way, way back. And I don't know essentially where it comes from. But I do know that after a while, you do know how things work.
Right.
And knowing how things work is the key to confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah.
And maybe a validation at some
Well,
point,
that's what
too.
we all look for.
We all look for, yes. Well, you had to figure out the design, whether it was round, it was square. Drawing a building or a house, you had to figure out these designs, like it said. Unlike fine art design, you explained to me in your mind, it's largely a conscious activity.
Yeah.
And in the various design arenas, but the foundation is always the same,
Yeah.
and the purpose.
Yeah. You decide what the purpose is, and then everything else falls into place.
Yes, and whatever you're
Purpose.
going to make, I
Purpose
guess.
includes the mood that you want to set too.
Yes.
So,
And then everything to come then, the medium, the color.
yeah, everything else is easy. It's when you get off of the purpose.
Yes.
You get onto some stray idea or some clever thing that you saw, and you lose track of the purpose.
Right.
But as long as you stay with the purpose, then the shape, the color, the composition, everything else falls into place to serve that purpose.
Right.
And it's just a simple thing.
Now, you've written and lectured on art theory. I think there's a memorial we'll be looking at soon at the university at Crisscross. So, well, in class and beyond, you have confidence in your work because
Well-
you believe in the systems.
Right.
What you call
Well,
my observations, maybe
the systems are based upon one's observation.
your observations.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a capsule of reality. And it's a unit of knowledge that seems to work. And then when we go to campus, we'll have two things to look at. One is this crisscross that has the wonderful material of concrete in it. And the other one is the
I see.
memorial to the college high students.
Oh, excellent.
And that one's
That's
altogether
coming up.
different. That's a brand new experience for me.
Right.
Okay, we're here on campus. We looked at the memorial, and they were working around it a little bit. And so it would be appropriate time to think about some students and advice to young people and so forth. A few years ago, some of the clever advertisers started putting messages below the threshold of noticing it, subliminal
messages.
messages, and it was very effective. And so they outlawed it. It was too effective. And so that's not legal anymore. But if you can get the message past the conscious mind, then you get it into the passionate side of your brain.
Oh, I see.
And then a person is vulnerable. So this is passion in the vulnerable soul. Passion is
Do you want to
more
show
or less
that to the-
subliminal. And that's primarily the motivator
Right.
of a human being. And when passion overrides the mind, then the soul is vulnerable.
All of those.
Anyway, I wrote this because I thought it was important to tell students that they needed to pay attention to their own thoughts and not so many thoughts of others. And that people, even a friend, can drag off your attention where you're wanting to do some thinking or some work or whatever, and that person is nagging you to go do something else,
Bossy.
or just talking.
Yeah.
If you're just talking, you can't have your thoughts while somebody's talking to you. And so we're in a situation sociologically where everything is intended to supplement or stand in place of your own thoughts. And so if you live your life by your conscious activity and the people and things from the outside keep stealing the mental activity from you, then you're getting a shorter life.
Oh, I
If you
see.
think of it that way.
And not fulfilled.
And so if you go through life and everybody else is giving you thoughts to use, and you don't have time to use your own thoughts, then you don't have much of a life.
That's true.
And so that's what this thing is about. It's about how people, how advertisers especially,
Where's
can
this
drag you
available?
along.
Where's this available at?
Well, it's not available.
It's not available.
It would be if
you
anybody
go
was
to reprint.
That's
uh-huh.
right.
Well, now we're sitting in the UCM gallery here at the university, which puts on different shows, etc.
Right.
And this was started back in what, 1860s?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I wrote a history about
Yes.
school.
National Art Education Association publication.
I got an article in that. I'm just dragging out things here
Uh-huh.
that I've had something to do with. And this is a book that
Art Design.
Art and Design at Central.
Central.
And that's my name there. But I had help on that. Dick Lerman was very helpful. George Sample was helpful. Most of the faculty were helpful. But it's got my sculpture out front here.
Oh, yes.
Crisscross.
Crisscross.
Crisscross was quite a monumental task for me because it had to be done upside down and then had to be moved. It was commissioned by the student union,
Oh, I see.
and it stood over there for quite a while.
Here at the university.
But it was done in '71,
Okay.
and the idea, crisscross, is a stationary balance type thing. And so anyway, that's what.
Well, you wrote an article, the National Art Education Association
Yeah.
publication.
Yeah.
Well on the
Yeah,
way
it's a
out.
play on the words. I had a design class, and I thought as a kind of a means of getting into a more basic
Exercise.
production, we did these exercises. They, first of all, they were trained, I trained them to separate visual image from the sensation of the image. So if I took a thumbtack, put it on your arm, the first impulse is for you to draw a thumbtack because your mind identifies. That ain't what you want. What you want is the sensation of the sharpness on your arm,
So,
and that's a different factor. And the idea was to get them into believing in a certain abstract kind of concept. Where
Yes.
You're not drawing the item that does it, you're drawing the sensation that it caused. And so that was something that, once they learned that what they needed to do was to record the sensation, not the object,
Right.
then these drawings became very exciting.
Oh, I can imagine. So they can relate and feel it.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so that was a good excitement.
Well, you love to design and produce, organize just about anything. I understand you originated and produced the Greater Missouri Midwest International Exhibition. You've done many. The first issue went to West Surrey, England.
Yeah.
Bob Jones took it.
He was over there.
Oh, excellent.
And then the next one that went to the Netherlands, I went with it and sent it ahead and then went over and negotiated it into the...
And that's where you picked up a lot of ideas and art again, concepts and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, you became the department chair and continued for several more, might I say. And
Tried to figure that out.
so you focus on the visual arts mainly now.
Yeah.
And you received, produced and managed a show you call Citation Award.
There are two things on campus that are still running that I started way back in probably 67 or 8. One of them is the Citation Award show, which I originated and carried for quite a number of years. And then I dropped it and somebody else was running, which is fine. I lost track of it. I didn't know if anybody was running it. And then when Mick Lerman, not Dick Lerman, but when Mick Lerman was chair, he checked in to it and wrote down the date that it started. So it was still running when Mick was chairman of the department, and it's still running today.
Well, you also had, you joined with a young lady by the name of Molly Shadwick.
Oh, yeah.
I know that name.
When I taught in Texas, so I could teach them oil painting. Well, there was a civil group that worked, and they wanted somebody to be teaching them some oil painting. And I just jumped at that because I wasn't teaching oil painting at that time and wanted to teach it. And so that went pretty well. And then when we moved up here, after about 3 years, I wanted to teach some oil painting again. And I went ahead and advertised
I see.
that we would have an oil painting class. Molly Shadwick from down around your area down there, east of Osceola.
Yes.
I think in that area.
Was
in one of those, was one in the first class. And I think about the second time we were chatting and we talked about having a civic organization.
Yes.
And she was just excited about that. And so we started working on that. And then a fellow by the name of Joe Adams, who was in the English department, joined in. And he and Molly really pushed that on.
And so that became the Mid-Missouri Artists
And it's still
Incorporated.
in
I'm a member, proud to be a member.
There you go. It's nice to have something that you started still going on.
Yes, I know what you mean.
So a lot of the things that I got into ran for a while.
Well, Rich, as we conclude, the bottom line is you've had really a wonderful career.
I've been in a profession that is hard to beat because, especially here, I could put in any class that I wanted to put in that I thought would be helpful to the students. And I could take that class pretty much wherever the students needed it to go. And my gosh, for a guy that just starts teaching. So then, when you have an opportunity to do whatever you're big enough to do, that's one hell of a deal. Now, administration was good.
Yeah.
They went along with most everything. Not everything.
So you probably, when you left here, you was inspired by family, your wife Joyce, and your son.
All of this stuff that I've done couldn't have been done without Joyce. You met Joyce.
Yes.
And she's in the trenches with me all the time.
Yes.
I've got a picture of her down where the sewage comes out of the house, hauling back at me. It's not right.
No, it's not right. Still working, trying to get things right.
Yeah.
Now you have a son.
I have a son, and he's in Lee Summit, and
his name?
John.
John.
And he's an outstanding fellow. He's still running up poles about your age.
Oh, wow.
Not your age.
No, oh, my age.
He's in 60, and he goes up these towers, and he keeps my Wi-Fi operating. He put in a Wi-Fi tower.
Oh, I see.
And then you met my daughter, and she's teaching an extension course for the university now.
Excellent.
Matter of fact.
And her name
she's
was?
Janet, and she's
Janet.
very talented. So, and then all of this stuff. I told you that I get things started that I think would be a challenge and I'd like to figure out.
Yes.
And this whole faculty, not every last one, but I had lots of help from my friends in the
A
department.
group of really
Oh, yeah.
wonderful colleagues, I
George
guess.
Sample even was helping me build the house. He was helping me.
Well, I guess it
So anyway,
can't
I've had a good time.
be better.
No, it can't be better.
That can't be better than that.
That's right. Can't be better than
Well, it can't be better than that. This look here on Spotlight on the Arts, an interview with, and a look at a true look at a true Renaissance man, Richard Monson from Chilhowie, Missouri. It's been an honor, Richard. I want to thank you and once again, and my cameraman, Kelby Cornrupt, and you viewers for taking the time to tune in and follow these shows, all these artists, no matter what type of, they're a performer, entertainer, songwriter, or a sculptor, or an artist like Richard who's taken it all in. So I just want to thank you for tuning in to YouTube and also to GMN Plus TV. Do you have any final words?
Just thank you for figuring me out.
Oh, thank you so much. Give me a hand on that, if you would. Thank you so
Appreciate it a whole
much.
lot.
Well, Rick J says, stay healthy, take care, and be safe. See you next time.